Yeah, today's a weird one. Dating games have always had some sort of a reputation for being cringy or strange or downright deplorable, and the people who play those games even more so. But I'm here to set the record straight, as definitely the only person on this entire platform that has made a video about this, absolutely, definitely for sure, that dating games can actually offer a lot more than we give them credit for. And I thought that no other game would fit this topic better than Date Everything. Developed by Sassy Chap Games, distributed by Team 17, and released on June 17th of 2025, this game claims that you can date, well, everything, but not anything, because that is something else. Just as a disclaimer, I am not a doctor, I am not a scientist, and I'm not a therapist. I'm not pretending to be. These are just my observations from what I made based off of this game that I think that can apply to real life. Cool? Cool. So let's jump into this digital dating dungeon and let me show you why dating games deserve better. Now it's time to set up my data with the names, pronouns, and place of residency. Usually whenever I have a game that asks me where I'm from, I always put Cartridge. This is just a nod to my other channel, Cartridge Crusaders. So we start off the game as an employee at Valdivian Incorporated. And our goal? Find love, find friends, and find hate. Right off the bat, we can move, crouch, inspect, and interact with objects and our menu, which the designers have cleverly made your cell phone. As we begin, we go about our standard customer service duties, and then we hear from our CEO.
Your new Val 9000 AI assistant isn't here to replace you. It's merely a useful tool to help you determine if your job is obsolete.
Wow, that didn't take me very long to fucking hate you. And since a robot took my job, I am now taskless with nothing to do. Until I got a mysterious message from a strange person who sent me a mysterious package. And it's a pair of aviators. What the hell is... Oh my god, a person! Alright, enough messing around. This is the funny game where you put on the glasses and everything becomes a hot character. Anything from your phone to your clock to your door becomes a dateable entity. You can either love them, friend them, or hate them as your bulletin board prophesized. To make things a little easier for you, Maggie, aka the magnifying glass, gives you an app that helps track down objects in case you get stuck trying to find any. Oh yeah, I also bought the digital deluxe version, which gives you a red shirt that everybody fucking comments on. While I think this is a fun gimmick, it completely ruins the immersion for me sometimes when it comes up. So the game is simple. Go around your house and find objects to interact with and talk to them to gain connections. All the while, a weird mystery goes on in the background about the conspiracy behind your old job. You know, the one the AI took? Some of the datables, as what they're referred to in the game, have specific missions and objectives that they want you to do in order to fulfill a certain task to befriend them or fall in love with them. One objective-based datable of note is Gaia, who I love so much. I don't even love them like romantically or sexually or anything that. I just love them as a person, and I wish they were real to be their friend. Her objective is to learn about the origin places of datables who came from other parts of the world, and you need to report back to her with that information when you find out when you talk to the other datables. Fun fact, her dialogue was actually written in plain English, and then the voice actor came in and made it sound more like dialect from Newfoundland, where that voice actor is from. And the game even mocks the character for being super hard to understand. And I don't know if it's just because I've interacted with a lot of foreign people before, but like, it wasn't actually that hard to understand her. I then met a dissociating fourth wall breaking Sync who thinks he's real. This game also comes with a content-aware mode that will warn you of anything that could trigger someone like Tina Triangle, who has an aggressive personality that may come off as abusive. I think it's fantastic that these games are including these warnings, but you can also turn them off if you don't want them on at all. Also, I met the toilet.
Oh, on a toilet roll! Je ne puis pas, out of control!
Alright, let's get to the real reason why I'm even talking about this game in the first place. Why am I dedicating an entire video to proving that dating sims aren't as cringe as people make them out to be? Well, Date Everything has 100 dateable objects in the game, which allows you to experiment with many diverse personalities, identities, and relationship routes that go along with them. This opens up a fantastic opportunity for people who may not know what type of people they mesh well with, offering a variety of different scenarios that allow you to roleplay what it would be like talking to someone of said personality. This will also allow you to experiment with how certain dialogue options will mesh with someone of a certain personality. While Betty, the bed, may like a more sensual approach to conversation, Dorian does not and would prefer to shoot straight in a friendly way. This will help you get accustomed to interacting with multiple different types of personalities and be able to read the room a little bit better. It also teaches you about remembering interests, specific tasks, and commitments to certain people, all while giving you a mulligan with time, as the game allows you to take as much time as you want, as long as it is not time or day specific, which most of the conversations are not. The only thing that this game tells you to do is to go around and just talk to people. That's it. That's the entire game. This game literally encourages you to get out of your comfort zone and talk to many different people of all different types. The game doesn't really end. Play as long as you want, interact with as many people as you want, however you want, and then just leave. Be done with the game. The game doesn't have to end. The game could end immediately. You can literally walk out your front door and end the game as soon as you want, which honestly I think is a fantastic way of just getting used to just going up to somebody and talking to them and meeting them. While you're conversating with the objects around your house, you can pick up weird one-liners or conversation starters to take into the real world. And much like the game, if somebody gives you a weird look or is not vibing with you, simply end the conversation and walk away. This also allows you to find out how your emotional bandwidth works around certain people. How does speaking to this individual make you feel? As somebody who grew up with emotions that I constantly overthought or misunderstood, it was very difficult for me to understand if I wanted to be friends with somebody, wanted to be like somebody, or wanted to go out with somebody. It's a big gray area that can be hard to tell the blurry lines apart from each other. Especially with people inside the LGBT community, this can be even more confusing if you're in the closet and don't know that you're attracted to the same sex, or if you're trying to experiment with a new identity and you're kind of getting lost and confused in what you like and what you want. However, dating games offer that opportunity to experiment with how your personality meshes with others and yourself and what types of personalities you like to be around, helping you find your crowd, as it were. The difference with Date Everything also comes from its variety and complex characters. While on the surface they look like your everyday date a hot person game archetypes, a lot of them actually have deep wants and desires that you can help them achieve. Lyric is a literary genius who's never written a book, Beverly is a barkeep who desires to run a business, and there's so many more. Another great example of this phenomenon is Timothy, aka your clock, who's punctual to a fault and whose dialogue mostly revolves around you teasing him for that. While he may seem like he's just a stubborn catboy stereotype, Timothy's other half, Timmy, tells a whole new story about the character. You see, Timmy is Timothy's playful side that only emerges outside of specific times, and he explains that his two sides don't get along and they often fight for control. However, they entrust you with bringing the two sides together to help them feel whole again, which is a really powerful message hidden within a somewhat silly character. But that's my favorite type of story to tell, is that on the surface it seems seemingly simple, but on the inside it's deep and complex and has a lot more going on. It's very effective storytelling, as much as people may not want to believe that, and honestly helps players feel way more connected to the world. Honestly, the least appealing part of this game to me is the mystery outside world stuff, because I'm spending too much time making friends and understanding my emotional mental feelings that whenever there's a break in the gameplay for the story, I tend to just kind of click through it. Because the journey I'm getting just by talking to all the different dateables is way more interesting and psychologically fulfilling than this weird mystery. And the game is very LGBTQ+ friendly, so it helps anybody of any identity or sexuality to feel like that they can experiment and figure themselves out within the game. But in all honesty, this game has actually helped me figure out how my mind works and why I formed some of the friendships or relationships that I've had in the past or the present. I can take that knowledge with me into the future to figure out if something is going to work or not and make more informed decisions about the people who I want to be around in my future. While dating games may seem silly or embarrassing, they offer much more than we give them credit for. There's no shame in owning or playing them, especially if it's in the pursuit of understanding yourself better. I've always been of the mindset of do whatever the fuck you want as long as you're not hurting anybody else, and I think I've made that pretty clear through my videos on this channel. While this video may seem kind of ridiculous or silly, I still think that it's important for us to talk about stuff like this because I feel like even nowadays a lot of people don't really understand what they want. And with the advent of dating games, I feel like it gives us that in of kind of figuring out, oh, well, I'm in a relationship with this character and it kind of feels right, or like, oh, it doesn't feel right. And you can kind of start to understand that a little bit more about yourself. Some people might be wondering, like, how can you not know what you're attracted to, or how could you not know this or that or the other thing? Honestly, for a lot of LGBT people, that's just kind of daily life. What I mentioned earlier about like, oh, do I like this? Do I want to be this? Or do I want to be friends with this? Is a very confusing phenomenon for a lot of us in the community. It took me up until I was 24 and a half to figure out what I actually liked and what I didn't. And while that does come with age, I do feel like there are a lot of people who may not figure it out till they're well into their 40s, which it happens. Some people know exactly what they want immediately as they pop out of the womb, but for a lot of us, we kind of just have to figure it out for ourselves in this messy game called life. And I feel like Date Everything is a fantastic example of that. With so many different characters and so many different types of people to interact with, it really does expose you to almost every type of person you could possibly think of, even some of the more toxic ones. But anyway, guys, that's all I really have to talk about today, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learn a little something about yourself in the future. Make sure to like and subscribe and get notified when I make a new video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Good luck out there.